Good morning, planet Earth. Today's top story is a juicy one for you. It involves a pharmaceutical anomaly by the name of Levothyroxine Sodium. This medication is in the class of thyroid products and is given when your thyroid simply does not have enough oomph to produce its own hormones. This medication simply works by replacing or providing hormone support when you have low thyroid levels. Now today we actually have the privilege of hosting a very, very special guest speaker, PhD, MD, and Masters, Dr. Jaden J. Cleland. Doctor?
Thank you, Jaden. It is an absolute privilege to be here. So today I wanted to talk about a little anatomy review of the thyroid gland with regards to the human body and its functionality within the body. So the thyroid gland is a major and highly important gland within the endocrine system. This gland affects nearly every cell within the human body. Now, the thyroid gland is called an endocrine gland because it releases its hormones directly into blood circulation, as opposed to an exocrine gland which releases its hormones locally. Now, stimulation of the thyroid begins with the hypothalamus. Now, the hypothalamus is responsible for continuously monitoring the levels of thyroid hormone within the blood circulation. The hypothalamus is actually responsible for a number of processes and physiological aspects within the body. However, in this case, I'm just going to talk about it for the endocrine system. Now, when the hypothalamus detects low levels of thyroid hormone, it starts releasing thyrotropin-releasing hormone, also known as TRH, and this goes to the anterior pituitary. Now, that starts the stimulation of thyroid-stimulating hormone, also known as TSH, which is then sent to the thyroid gland so that it can stimulate the synthesis of thyroid hormone. Now, thyroid hormone goes to the body, and once enough levels of thyroid hormone are detected, a negative feedback system goes to the hypothalamus in order to make it stop releasing TRH. Now, there are two main derivatives of thyroid hormone: triiodithyronine, also known as T3, and thyroxine, also known as T4. Now, both of these hormones are responsible for the metabolic rate. When a decrease in the metabolic rate is detected, these are released in order to increase the energy production that cells release. Now, this in turn has an increase in heat production. These hormones are also responsible for the growth and regulation of tissue, as well as the management of blood pressure. Now, a major difference between these two hormones is their bioavailability within the body. Thyroxine T4 is the main hormone that is secreted by the thyroid gland, which means it has a much better bioavailability. However, when it is secreted in this form, it is known as the inactive or less active form. Now, triiodithyronine, T3, must actually be converted in order to be in its active state. When it is being converted, it is by either the liver, the brain, or some peripheral tissues. Now, when T4 is converted into T3, it is actually 10 times more potent than T4, which is pretty important for our body. Now, the thyroid also releases a hormone known as calcitonin, and this happens to do with our calcium levels within our blood system. When too much calcium is released, calcitonin is stimulated and released into blood circulation, and that causes the osteoblasts within our bone system to pick up that excess calcium and reabsorb it into the bones. Now, calcitonin also stimulates the kidneys to excrete that excess calcium within the urine. And that's all I have for today. It was a pleasure. Back over to you, Jaden.
Thank you, Doctor. Wow, isn't he dreamy? Okay, next up, we're going to head out to the field where one of our reporters has chosen to brave the extreme, incredible weather conditions in order to get you some more information. Over to you, Jaden. Thank you, Jaden. Today I'm out here in lovely Shell Beach where this 55-degree weather has truly decided to test its residents. Levothyroxine sodium is indicated for any hyposecretion of the thyroid gland, otherwise known as hypothyroidism. This condition is caused by autoimmune diseases such as Hashimoto's disease, can be caused by thyroid surgery, and can also be caused by iodine deficiency, among other things. Behind me here, we have a local school where a brave young student has been battling a condition associated with hypothyroidism. Let's go see what he has to say. Breaking news, this just in. While Jaden is setting up that interview, I was just informed that there are actually a number of contraindications listed with this medication. These contraindications include, but are not limited to, myocardial infarction, uncorrected adrenal insufficiency, also known as Addison's disease, hypothermia, osteoporosis, pregnancy, and of course, hypersensitivity. All right, sounds like Jaden's all set up with that interview. Over to you, Jaden.
And thank you, Jaden. Today, I'm here with a local 7-year-old student named Jaden. He has been diagnosed with a condition known as goiter, which happens to be the abnormal enlargement of the thyroid gland, and this is due to hypothyroidism. Hi there, Jaden. Do you think you can tell us a little bit about how you got this lump on your neck?
My mom told me it's because I don't eat enough iodine in my diet. I really don't like salt.
So because you don't get enough iodine, your thyroid isn't able to produce enough thyroid hormone.
Uh-huh. And my mom told me that my pituitary gland keeps sending TSH to my thyroid, which is why it keeps growing so much. So she's been making me eat stuff like seaweed and a bunch of fish. It's really gross stuff.
Well, there you have it. Be sure you get enough iodine in your diet so that you too don't end up like poor little Jaden here. Back over to you, Jaden.
Thank you, Jaden. That was quite the story. It just goes to show that diet is important. Okay, I believe that is all the time we have for... Oh, what? I'm getting some more news that Jaden has just found yet another person who has some more important information to us. Let's go see what he found. Jaden? You won't believe this, Jaden. We were walking back to the bus and we spotted yet another person suffering from hypothyroidism. He's right over here. Let's ask him some questions. Sir, excuse me, sir. Do you mind if we ask you some questions regarding your condition?
Well, of course, young lad. What can I do for you?
Thank you, sir. I couldn't help but notice that you just took a levothyroxine pill. Do you think you can tell us a little bit about this drug, how you take it, and some of its side effects?
Well, of course there, laddie. Well, after my thyroid fell off the mountain, nice old docs put me on this here drug and told me to keep an eye out for some itchiness, either a loss or gain in my appetite. What else did that tell me? Told me to be especially vigilant for some heart stuff to, kind of listen to my heart and see what it feels like.
Wow, that is quite the long list. Do you think you could tell us a little bit about how you're taking this medication?
Well, sure thing. I weigh actually 99 pounds, which I think is something like 45 kilograms. And the docs told me that I needed to be taking 1.1 micrograms per kilogram per day. So that comes out to be like 50 microgram pill a day. I'm supposed to take that like half hour, an hour before breakfast. Make sure it's on an empty stomach. Then when breakfast comes around, ain't nothing better than oatmeal and whiskey.
Thank you so much, old man Jaden. We really appreciate all the information. Back to you, Jaden. Thank you, Jaden. That was a really good find. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay frosty, Planet Earth.